Para gabayan po tayo ng mas malalim pang pagsusuri sa pampulitikang aspeto sa ating alituntunin sa paglilitis, makakapanayin po natin via Zoom ang premyadong political analyst, si Professor Froilan Calilong. Ay nasa linya po natin, nasa Zoom natin. Prof. Dr. Calilong, magandang gabi po sa inyo.
Yes. Yes, good evening po, Sir Gani. Good evening po, Attorney. At good evening din po sa lahat ng ating mga taga-subaybay.
Prof,
And thank you for having me again.
yeah, nasubaybayan niyo po yung day 2 ngayon ng paglilitis dito sa impeachment. Ano? Sa tingin niyo ba ay tumutugma, tama yung track ng paraan ng proseso ngayon na nagaganap? At tingin niyo ba ito ay nakakabigay ng impormasyon sa taong bayan? Attorney?
Yes,
Prof.
sa Mangani, no? Yes, I totally agree with that. No, I think the presiding officer somewhat is doing a good job. No, at least at the onset, the first 2 days of the impeachment. I think nakita natin dito yung grasp talaga ni Senator Chis Escudero dito sa proseso tsaka doon sa mga reglamento, at nakikita natin na siguro lumulutang dito yung kanyang masasabi nating karanasan, no, sa mga nagdaang impeachment. And I think also his legal savvy as a lawyer also is being seen here. So I think we're seeing here somewhat very good beginnings insofar as the impeachment is concerned, lalong-lalo na dito sa ating presiding officer. And I think the control is there, at ito yung maganda, no, somehow na nakikita natin dito sa mga panimulang bahagi ng pagdinig ng impeachment.
Professor, ano po ang epekto nitong, ano po nakikita niyong epekto nitong impeachment trial sa kredibilidad ng ating Senado?
Well, very, very important, no, that the Senate at this point in time must be able to really resuscitate itself, no, to some extent kasi the past few months has not been very good for the Senate. With the bickerings that happened, you know, the leadership changes that transpired and the drama that unfolded, I think it did not really paint a very good impression insofar as the public is concerned, no. So mahalaga na itong impeachment na to, no, ay magawa ng maayos at tama, at masunod talaga yung tamang proseso na ayon doon sa Senate rules, no, so that at least somehow makita ng taong bayan na itong mataas na kapulungan, ano, that is supposed to be an exalted and a very hallowed institution is living up to its billing, no, as a very important hallmark or bastion of our democracy. And I think ito yung maaari nating makita dito kung magpapatuloy ito yung ganitong sistema. Although kahapon nga may mga usapan tungkol doon sa pag-relinquish ni Senator Win Gatchalian nung kanyang posisyon as supposedly the presiding officer because he is the Senate President, and then may mga parang napupulaan siya, no, na bakit siya nandoon, he is the Senate President but why did he relinquish it. I think we also need to understand to some extent that Senator Win Gatchalian may be trying to be very cautious, no, here, because he knows that it is a very high stakes proceeding, at medyo kakailanganin talaga ng isang tao na may mas malalim na karanasan at kaalaman tungkol sa mga legal na proseso katulad nito, no? And I think Senator Chis Escudero is the right man for the job.
Prof, ngayong araw na ito ay nagsampa ng petisyon sa Supreme Court ang kampo ng depensa at ipinatitigil ang impeachment trial. Sa tingin nyo ba ay mag-i-interfere o makikialam dito ang ating Korte Suprema gayong umuusad na yung impeachment trial dyan sa Senado?
Well, I think at the onset, the defense will try to exhaust every legal means possible, ano, for them to actually state their case. But as we know it right now, the impeachment trial already commenced, and I think medyo mahihirapan na rito talaga na pigilan ito, no, lalong-lalo na kung ang Korte Suprema ang magi-interfere dito, especially if the grounds are really not that very convincing. Yun nga, it's right now really more of a political question, and I think medyo hands off na rito yung Korte Suprema. Pero ang tingin ko kasi rito, ginagawa ito ng defense as yun nga, to legally exhaust every possibility that there is to possibly win it to their favor. But I think since we already started, mas maganda siguro talaga na hayaan natin na magpatuloy itong impeachment na to. Makita talaga natin paglalapit ng mga ebidensya, mga testimonya, mga dokumento, mabigyang linaw talaga kung meron ba talagang basihan yung kanilang mga alegasyon laban sa ikalawang pangulo, at at the same time matuto din tayo bilang mga mamamayan.
Professor, ano po yung bilang political analyst, ano po yung nakikita niyong epekto nitong impeachment proceedings sa maaring resulta o pwedeng mangyari sa eleksyon sa 2028?
Let's face it, I will be very frank with you on this, the first goal really here is, from a political standpoint, is really to convict the vice president, to really remove her from the equation, because she, after all, is the front runner for the 2028 elections. Kung titignan natin at himayin nating maigi, yung naunang dalawang impeachment natin, medyo ibang-iba yung complexity kumpara dito, dahil yung unang dalawang impeachment, the first one yung kay Erap, syempre hindi alam naman natin na hindi na siya pwedeng humabol ulit, because he was already a sitting president during that time. TJ Corona is coming from the judiciary, at hindi rin naman siya nag-signify to intend to run for any election, but this is very different with the case of VP Sara, because she already signified her intent, and at the same time she is consistently the front runner. So it's as simple as this, kung pwede talagang yung conviction may really totally bring her out of the equation. But if it will not result into conviction, kasi kung titignan natin, medyo tall order talaga yung 16 na boto to actually convict. Pero the truth is, it will definitely constitute a weakening of her political base here, moving and gearing towards the 2028 elections, because everything will be under scrutiny. Lahat mailalatag, lahat ng kanyang mga ebidensya, mabubulat-lat ng maigi. And this will be, in a broadcast in national television every single day, for the next 90 days, more or less. So talagang maaring hindi man siya makonvict, kung sakasakali man. Pero talagang magiging mapapahina nito yung kanyang momentum going into the 2028 elections. But it could also work the other way around, because for a fact na meron talaga kasing solido na voter base itong si VP Sara Duterte. At kung titignan din natin yung socio-cultural milieu ng ating bansa, we tend to actually root for the underdogs. At kung patuloy na ganito yung narrative at yung optics na ipapakita ni VP Sara Duterte, na siya yung parang ginugulpe, binubugbog and all, this might condition the minds of the people also na to root for her in the 2028 elections. Baka ito pa yung kanyang magamit as a rallying factor to her favor.
Prof, sa ating panonood kanina, parang wala tayo sa Senado because yung nagpapalitan ng argumento ay mga private lawyer, private prosecutor at pribadong depensa, hindi congressman o senador po ang nagdi-discussion kanina. At parang tingin ko nga kanina, parang nasa korte na tayo, Pero ito ang tanong ko ngayon, sa articles of impeachment, bakit inuna yung article number 4? Which is ito yung pagbabanta sa buhay. May nakikita ba kayong strategy dito sa panig ng prosecution na pag ito ay napadiin na natin na maprueba na ito, hindi na ba isusunod yung ibang mga article at matatapos na kaagad itong pagdinig? Strategy ba yon?
Well, it could be. Dahil kung titignan natin dito kasi sa Article 4 na to, medyo maliwanag talaga dahil merong video Meron talagang kumaga hindi mo na kinakailangan pang i-uncover because it's already there, You just need to substantiate it even further, and make the case for that particular article. As compared to the other articles siguro na kinakailangan pa ng mas masusing pagpusisi at pagkakilatis, lalong-lalo na dun sa mga ebidensya, sa mga dokumento, lalong-lalo na dun sa confidential funds. So I think it could be really a strategy on the part of the prosecution to actually start off with this. And I think medyo yung defense was a bit caught off guard as well. Kasi maaaring ang iniisip kasi ng defense dito, ang uunahin yung mas contentious matters like the confidential funds or the SALN among others, pero biglang pumihit dito yung prosecution at ito nga yung inuna nila, so it could also mean to say na maaring they are also buying time, maaring ito yung mas solido na article para sa kanila, malakas yung kanilang laban dito sa article na to, at habang ito muna yung unang sinasalang, maaring at the background yung kanilang legal team ng prosecution, including the private prosecutors, are actually still trying to gather more evidences to substantiate the other claims, particularly the confidential funds and the salary. So it could be a strategy definitely, but at the same time it could also mean that they are also buying some time to solidify their case for the other articles.
May question ako, Professor. Babalik ako sa political aspect. Ano sa tingin nyo as the trial progresses, paano ito makakaapekto sa pananaw ng publiko patungkol sa pamamahala sa ating gobyerno? Also, please consider yung mga social media accounts, yung mga Facebook, everything. So, anong
Saka
pwede
ng mga vlogger pa.
Yes, anong pwede nyong mai-advise diyan sa aming sa publiko?
Well, basically, ang kagandahan kasi sa isang impeachment kagaya ito that is nationally televised and it really gets a lot of media mileage and a lot of attention. I think the good thing about this is that nagkakaroon tayo ng pagkakataon na makilatis talaga at malaman yung mas malalim na aspeto nitong mga allegations at itong mga binabato ng mga bintang, lalong-lalo na doon sa impeachable officer. And at the same time, natututo rin tayo bilang mamamayang Pilipino. I mean, sabi ko nga sa inyo, every time may impeachment tayo, maraming biglaang nagiging mga legal experts, legal pundits, and many people actually are becoming more and more knowledgeable about the law. Yung mga halimbawa, dati hindi alam kung ano ibig sabihin ng subpoena de sustecum or subpoena at testificando, biglang all of a sudden people even in the streets are actually starting saying these things, which I think is really good because it adds knowledge to the public. But again, we need to also understand that the impeachment should not be the end-all and be-all of our existence for the next 90 days. Because remember that the country is also being beleaguered with so many issues and so many problems na hindi natin po pwedeng gawin na yung impeachment lamang yung sentro ng ating buhay. So mahalaga na pag-usapan natin ang accountability, ang justice, pero kinakailangan din naman siguro on the part of the government na siguruhin na yung ibang aspeto patungkol sa proper granting ng mga reforms, sa mga agenda, ng mga programa ay hindi naman po maisa sa isang tabi because let's face it, our people are demanding more of governance and less of politics. And let's face it, impeachment is really more of a political exercise. Pero side by side with this, I think the government should also be steadfast with what they really want to actually have, and that is a better life for a great number of Filipinos.
Prof, sa pangalawang araw nitong impeachment na ito na napanood ng buong bansa, first day pa nga lang dumami ho ang mga political analyst at saka yung mga vloggers, sabi ko nga kanina, dugtungan ko yung sinasabi ni Attorney Maris dito, na nagbibigay ng kanilang opinion at nagbibigay ng pagkumbinsi sa taong bayan, So, papaano ang dapat tingnan ng ating mga mamamayan na set aside mo kapag itong kabilang nagbibigay ng opinion na ito ng mga political analyst na mahalata mong one-sided o may kulay yung pagbibigay niya ng opinion sa nangyayari. Nandiyan yung sasabihin na nilamon ng buhay atong kabila at bagsak sila. Ay pangalawang araw pa lang ito ng impeachment trial, Paano po natin tuturuan ang ating mga mamamayan na hindi mailigaw na mga maling narrative ng mga nagbibigay ng opinion para lamang ipalutang yung kanilang pinupuntuhan ay sinusuportahang panig.
Well, kasamang gani kasi hindi natin may alis, no? So, social media kasi meron tayong tinatawag na echo chambers, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na algorithms, no? And of course, kung ano yung pinapakinggan mo at ano kung yung sino yung madalas na pinapanood mo o fina-follow mo, madalas yun yung lalabas talaga sa feed mo. And it has a certain level or a certain way of conditioning the way you think. And of course, this is very critical in the formation of public opinion, definitely, no. Kaya kung minsan may kita natin sobrang polarized, no, yung ating public sphere, yung ating democratic spaces is so polarized because that's really how it is, no. If you're rooting for the administration or if you're rooting for the Dutertes, you tend to only focus on those things that are actually part of your echo chambers. So kinakailangan talaga rito unang-una tignan natin, balansehin natin at maigi na tignan natin kung papaano pa talaga nakakapuntos yung bawat isa. For example, kahapon, I think the defense really made a good account for themselves. But today, the prosecution also was able to execute well, no? So dito natin nakita na at least kahit paano nakita natin yung mas balanse at yung mas sabihin na nating patas na perspektibo at hindi lamang yung gusto nating isulong o yung agenda ng politiko na sinusuportahan natin. Because let's face it, this impeachment is very historic and at the same time, it is going to be for the sake of our country, for the future. So, kinakailangan sa atin sigurong hubarin natin kung minsan yung pagiging panatiko natin para naman siguro mas maunawaan natin ano ba talaga yung mas malilimang konteksto, bakit natin ito ginagawa at bakit ito nangyayari sa ating bayan.
Rob, may mga ilang tanong pa kami dito na ibibigay po sa inyo, itatanong sa inyo. Pwede ho bang babalikan namin kayo, magko-commercial break lamang po kami, ha?
Of course.
All right.
No worries.